What's up, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Scyushi, and we are back again for some more Genshin Impact. Already talking more about the wood. Because basically the 1.5 update, me and my friends keep joking about, is basically the Minecraft update. Whenever people ask, like, oh, what are you doing, playing Genshin? No, I'm playing Minecraft, dog. There will end up being timestamps in the description, which means that they should show up as chapters on the video if you guys want to skip all the intro information and just get right to the tree routes. Also, if you guys and gals do end up finding this video helpful, I would appreciate if you leave a like. You don't have to make the decision right now, just watch through the video, and then if you end up enjoying it, you can smash like at the end. So there's a couple things that I wanted to let you guys know about, some developments that we ended up discovering in terms of how to farm wood more efficiently. Now, one of the things that's actually really cool that a buddy of mine, Captain Red, shout outs to him, ended up accidentally discovering. I'm sure people already knew about this, but I don't see anybody talking about it, so I wanted to instruct you guys about it, is that trees will actually respawn their wood within the same day. In fact, trees will end up respawning their wood almost immediately, so long as you end up just keep hitting other trees. I don't know if it's on a timer or if it's based on the fact that you'll hit another amount of trees before the first one ends up resetting. We're trying to figure out the parameters of it, but I honestly have no idea. If somebody knows in the comments, please let me know. That would be awesome. So the big things that we're going to be focusing on today is a continuous route, because we're trying to be as efficient as possible to end up farming for this wood. So even though you could technically go in a straight line farming all of the wood, and then you could fast travel back to a location and then just start your route again, no, we're going to try and avoid that at all costs, because we want to be able to consistently be moving, not have to deal with load times or anything like that, because obviously all of that stuff is going to slowly add up over time. The other thing I gotta let you guys know about is each individual tree can drop 3 different pieces of wood, which seems to be on a sort of internal cooldown, so you can't just bop and get all of the wood right at once. So I would recommend using a greatsword character or someone that attacks a little bit slower, so that you can get the timing right of the bop, all 3 pieces of wood, and then you move on to the next tree. Another important thing to keep in mind, just for efficiency's sake, is that weirdly enough, the game only seems to be able to drop wood from 1 tree at a time, regardless of how many trees you're hitting. So even though I'm going to hit 2 different pieces of bamboo right here, 1, 2, well, that was 1, 2, 3, right? So that already ended up gaining me 3 pieces of wood. Now I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, and the second piece of bamboo ended up just dropping all of them. My point is, even if you're using a greatsword character and hitting 2 trees at the same time, you're actually only getting resources for 1 of them, so just keep on smacking for the equivalent to get 3 from each of them. I'm in no way saying that any of the routes that I'm going to be showing you guys today are going to be perfect. These aren't the absolute best, and you can always just end up exploring and finding out what routes end up working for you, but these were the ones that I just off the top of my head found to be the most efficient, and I just wanted to share that with you guys. So this is going to end up being in Mondstadt for pine trees. Yep, you got it. Mondstadt is going to end up having pine trees. No more going to Dragonspine, no more freezing to death or anything like that, because every single one of these little trees actually counts as pine wood. And the route that I usually end up doing is just this one over and over, going in a circle, and usually you'll end up getting, I don't know, like 69, nice, 69 within like maybe 1 to 2 minutes, depending on how quick you're doing it. The next piece of wood is going to end up being bamboo, which obviously is one of the easiest resources to get in the game, just because you're going to get it in so mass supply. You get it along this run, which not really anything has changed with it outside the fact that now that we know the wood will end up respawning, you quite literally can just go in a very small radius of a circle, just because there's so much bamboo here that you'll be able to smack all of them and just keep going in circles for hours and hours on end, and you'll be able to end up racking up the bamboo super duper quick. The worst tree in the game is undoubtedly going to be the Cuihua. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but I don't care. That's going to end up being the tree that looks like this, and it has fruit on it. Now, I found that there is quite a few of them in Datapao Gorge. This is generally the route that I would end up taking, and make sure that you end up attacking some of the other trees along the way, because the thing is that there is just such a small amount of Cuihua wood that by the time you end up coming full circle, the first tree would not have already reset. This is why I'm not exactly sure what the parameters are to end up getting the wood to reset, whether it's distance traveled or a certain amount of trees that you've ended up chopping, whatever. There's also going to end up being this area, which is just the Hilichurl camp up in Datapao Gorge, which is also going to end up having quite a bit of Cuihua wood and can end up being pretty efficient. It's not super efficient. That's the thing, is this wood sucks to get, but the fact that it is repeatable is a godsend, because originally I thought it was just gonna be like once a day, or I didn't know what the resetting time was, honestly. Now moving on to Cedar Wood. Cedar Wood I most of all find to be all over the starting area in the game. You remember when you ended up coming off of the beach? Well, basically there's just tons and tons of cedar wood here, and because there is such a mass quantity, you can end up doing the same trick that you do with bamboo, where you can just kind of go in a circle within a small space, and by the time you end up getting back to your first tree, just keeping track of which ones you've ended up hitting and stuff, you'll end up having it all end up respawning. So you can end up getting a lot of this wood really quickly as well. Fir trees are not that bad. Obviously, you know, you're gonna have to have a lot of running speed and junk like that, just using your sprinting, just because they're kind of few and far apart. It's not that they're not in mass supply, it's just the fact that they're spread out so much. So usually I end up going up here, which incidentally is one of the areas where you can end up finding the rare hilichurl. As you see, he passes right by me right there. But I found that this area was the best for me personally, to just kind of go in circles. And of course, again, the whole point is that once you end up getting to the end of the route, you can easily end up just circling back around and having the trees all be respawned. Birch, of course, is going to end up being another wood that is extremely common, especially out in Mondstadt. Usually what I end up doing is just kind of coming around this area and going around in circles or in a straight line or whatever. I mean, the thing about birch is that there is just such a mass supply of them that you don't even need to be going in a consistent circle or anything. You can just keep going and going and going in one direction, and you're just going to keep coming across more and more birch. Last but not least is going to be the Sandbearers, which the Sandbearer tree is really easy to get in this area just because there is such a mass supply of them. I personally found that this was the best area for me. Again, I'm not saying that these are the absolute best areas in the game. It's just what worked for me, and I was able to get a really consistent number. The problem with this route is that you are going to have to fight a couple enemies along the way just to clear them and get them out of the way. And then otherwise, the distance that you have to travel between tree to tree is really small, so it ends up making it very efficient. The only problem with this route that I could probably end up refining a little bit more is if we ended up going full circle. Eventually you kind of have to do a bit of a jog to get back to the beginning of it all. And that's about gonna do it, ladies and gentlemen. So hopefully you ended up finding this video helpful. I just wanted to have it as a quick little guide, just a quick little update, let you guys know, okay, this is what's going on in terms of wood cutting and stuff. Of course, if you guys have any tips, leave them down in the comments, because I'm always open to receiving more information so that I can end up making the best tutorials possible, even if again, this is not necessarily going to end up being the most efficient wood wise. Hopefully it was more efficient on your time and the video can be cut down to a pretty decent length. Anyways, thanks for watching. Smash the like, sub for more, buy the merch you want to support the channel, and have a great day. Sign on and stay epic, everybody.